David Alan Grier has been Hollywood's aspiring top race baiter for years, but just like his comedy career, he just fails to miss the mark. But he's been at this game for a long time, and one of his more prominent examples, at least one that got, swallowed up by the cultural zeitgeist recently, just happens to be one of his more pronounced flops. But we'll get to that for a second, because our guy out here has been peddling his certain brand of racist nonsense for a very long time. David Alan Grier wants to end years of unjust and immoral discrimination against white people. Now, you would see that and think, what exactly are you up to? But then you realize that this is a Time article, and it's like, okay, we know exactly what's going on. But like I said, he's been at this for a long time, and this isn't even one of the first examples. This is just one that has at least a little bit of historical value, given the fact that it came out in 2017, which, guess what? 7 years removed from. That's absolutely wild to think about, but we here now, bruh. American comedian David Alan Grier appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Wow! I never thought an article could end up triggering my allergies, but, seeing this many hacks in one place at a time makes me reach for a tissue. Last night with an important message about white people. Not because the color of your skin isn't congruent with the people that you're criticizing. I thought you weren't allowed to do that. Oh, right, it's open season on white people, and it has been for a long time, and now people are just finally getting hip to this idea in 2024. Weird. The Grammy and Tony nominee was responding to Jeff Sessions. Yeah, this is how long this stuff goes back. Former Attorney General Jeff Sessions' direction to the Justice Department to investigate intentional race-based discrimination in colleges and university admissions. Time's obviously not going to point out the fact that Asians were getting overwhelmingly discriminated against in Ivy Leagues, while other, less qualified applicants were just given the red carpet treatment, but I'm sure that's what David Alan Grier is going to point to, right? Greer joked with a very straight face that he wanted to work with the Attorney General to end years of unjust and immoral discrimination against white people. Okay, interesting about face. What did you have in mind? It started back in the 1700s. Oh, for fuck's sakes. When black people took all the seats in the slave ships for themselves. Well, it's not even historically correct. They were just forced to stand, right, shoulder to shoulder, leaving room for a few white people on top. Well, somebody has to drive the ship. But who sold each other into oh, no, right, we don't want to talk about that. But years of unjust and immoral discrimination. Years. And you got to go all the way back to the 1700s, huh? No way to keep your comedy and your hackery very relevant. He goes on to describe how black people forced white people into all white neighborhoods and all white schools. So funny to go ahead and revisit this from so many years ago and to now just see all of the white people trying to create all black spaces, and how that's totally fine and on the up and up, but when you just go ahead and reverse the races, it's totally wrong, right? The police are so focused on serving us that they barely even pay attention to white people. Yeah, that's hilarious, because you actually look at the crime statistics and who ends up, in a vast majority, ends up getting pulled over and harassed by the cops more often. But then again, doing research, that's for white people. David Alan Grier, white people. Oh my God, you would think, and this one just came out a little bit more recently, within the past couple of weeks or so, white people might watch American Society of Magical Negroes. Let's get the full title out there, and say they're tired of hearing about race. Wow, if you would develop, a jump shot, another route to take, maybe we'd stop hearing and talking about this nonsense. And to be fair, most white people don't give a shit about the nonsense that you're peddling. This is a you problem, my guy, and it's been a you problem for a very, very long time. You would think just rubbing shoulders with people that were actually funny back in the cut on In Living Color, some of their talent would have rubbed off on you, but nope, it looks like somebody got out unscathed. But yes, they're tired of hearing about race, but we're tired of talking about it. No, because you haven't updated any of your references. You're still just whining and complaining about perceived indiscretions brought upon your ancestors. Not about you. Listen, man, you've been given far more opportunities in Hollywood than far more talented people have. And yet, you are still here. You're riding on the coattails of your well-worn-out legacy. You haven't done anything of note in how long? And you haven't updated your material in how goddamn long. We're tired of hearing about race. Yeah, we're tired of talking about race. Guess what? Here's the magic thing. Okay, successful people don't give a fuck about race. They don't talk about this nonsense. They talk about successful people shit. They don't get bogged down in this stupid-ass minutia. They don't make stupid films that everybody see is just a repurposed, unconventional race baiting film. Oh, with a very bog standard rom-com stapled on the back of it to just try to get it to theaters. Oh, I want to talk about racism. It's like, well, everybody's kind of tired of this nonsense. But I want to talk about how bad white people are, and I got a goofy love story to tell over the top of it. Well, come on in, Mr. Greer. One of the boldest movies premiering at 2024's Sundance Film Festival is The American Society of Magical Negroes, directed by Kobe Libby. The film takes aim at the magical Negro stereotype and centers on a young man, Justice Smith, who is recruited into a society in which African American members, I'm sure there are some Caribbean blacks that are on there, but you don't want to say that part, are tasked with ensuring that white people's lives remain easy. Yeah, I can't imagine why people aren't clamoring to see this film. Libby, Smith, and co-star David Alan Grier visited the Variety Studios presented by Audible. Make sure you get all your plugs in there, okay? And spoke about the reactions to their button-pushing satire. Oh, right, yeah, it's satire until you watch the trailer, which I did on the channel. And by the way, shout out to David Alan Grier, who's going to be taking all of the money that video ended up making because, yeah, it got copyright struck, or claimed, I guess that's a more appropriate term on that one. So I don't make a goddamn dollar from it, but we had some good laughs off of the back of that, so... Is he profiting off of a quarter Native Americans' hard work? That's a bit racist. Some members of the white community will see it and say, we're tired of hearing about race. Well, we're tired of talking about it. We're tired too. Yeah, all you do is complain, huh? Anyways, we all want to get past this, but you can only get past it by going through it. No, you get past it by having honest conversations and not these racist stereotypes blasted in theaters that literally tens of people across the nation are going to go and fill. Smith remembered reactions to the film during focus screenings. He noticed that some black viewers found themselves struggling to come with the terms of the film's premise. Ooh, that's interesting. So even some black people were like, yeah, this is like super racist and kind of stupid and a bit of a bait and switch. It's like, okay, you're supposed to be magical Negroes. Why are we concerned about the love interest of a mid-looking white chick? Like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. The script focuses on how corporate structures in America have institutionalized black employees to act in service of and uplift their white employees. I couldn't imagine why nobody's responding terribly well to this. There were black people who were triggered by seeing something that they weren't ready to admit in themselves. Oh my God. So now you're going to be talking about it. It's not so abhorrent that you're tired of talking about race to white people and they're tired of listening to it. It's that now you need to proselytize the black people that just don't see the world the way that you do, and you're just trying to talk to them about their internalized racism. You guys are freaks. But then there are black people who are like, this is me. This is what I've had to do to survive. Oh my fucking God. Detail this. Actually show where and why did this take place? This is so stupid. This shows that we're not a monolith. Right. You just like to talk about the black community like they're just there simply in service of white people. Good stuff. This art is controversial because it expands what black art can be. It expands what black art can be, simply focusing on the plight of the black man and black people, not evolving beyond those very, very narrow constraints. Yeah, definitely. Art is controversial because it expands what black art can be and speaks about a specific side of blackness. Oh my God, yes. Blackity, black. This microaggressive corporate racism. You unironically said microaggressions, huh? Speaking of Variety, before the Sundance Film Festival, Libby also addressed the decision to tackle such a sensitive race-driven issue. Yeah, subject matter I'm playing with is really sensitive and raw, and people have such a strong visceral feelings about it. Yeah, because they can see it for the race-baiting trash that it's ultimately going to be. You might get a standing ovation by all of the guilty white liberals at Sundance, but when it eventually does get released upon the world, March 15th, is anybody going to care about this nonsense? I highly doubt it. But let's hear the man out. Maybe he's got a nuanced take on this absolute dog shit. I think this means that we're pointed in the right direction in terms of what we should be talking about. I'm genuinely excited for people to bring that same passion and political conviction into what I think is a more sophisticated and intricate and nuanced conversation that the full film is. So yeah, don't go off any of our promotional material. Don't go off of, what our biggest star from the film has to say about it, okay? The real film, it's not indicative of the promotional material. Fantastic. What Libby is eagerly anticipating, though, is a reaction from the live audience. Yeah, it's just going to be, boo! This sucks! Actually, no, there won't even be that animated of a response because nobody's going to show up to the theater. This is going to make hundreds of dollars. Love the audience reaction, especially because it's a comedy. Couldn't tell by the trailer. So people giving other people permission to laugh. What, we have to get an N-word pass, and now we got to get a laughter pass at black comedies? Like, what the hell's going on? Especially about some of the trickier stuff, I think. It's something I'm looking forward to. Well, continue to look forward to it, because the moment that this thing drops is the moment that you can just go ahead and, flip over the script and then all of a sudden wonder, okay, you're just out there just yelling at people. Why are white people tired of talking about race? It's going to be like when Elizabeth Banks's Charlie's Angels reboot came out. This is not a film for men. And then a couple of weeks later, after the film bombed at the box office, why aren't men going to see our film? This is going to read exactly the same. White people, this isn't a film for you unless you want to learn. Why didn't white people turn out to this film? This is a race-baiting disaster brought to you by one of the biggest grifters in all of Hollywood. Have fun with your 15 minutes of fame, because in a couple weeks' time, it's going to be completely up and nobody's going to care about you, and you'll just have to find another spin on your racism somewhere else. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.